You're sitting across from your closest friend at your favorite cafe, the one where you've shared 1,000 laughs over the years. Steam rises from your coffee, and you're mid-sentence, telling them about the big project you just landed, the one that's going to change everything for you. Their eyes stay on yours. They nod along, and then, with the warmest smile, they say, "That's incredible. Seriously, I'm so proud." I mean, for someone who's always been the creative type instead of the corporate ladder climber, you really nailed it this time.
Your smile freezes. The words sound nice, but something twists in your gut. Was that a compliment? Or was it the velvet glove over a quiet little knife? You laugh it off, change the subject, and spend the rest of the afternoon replaying it in your head. You tell yourself you're overthinking. They're your friend, after all. They've been there through breakups, job losses, family drama. Why would they ever look down on you?
But deep down, you know that feeling, that quiet, nagging sense that someone close to you, maybe even someone you trust with your life, secretly sees you as less. Not in the obvious cartoon villain way. No shouting, no insults. Just these tiny, invisible cuts that leave you questioning your worth long after the conversation ends.
I'm going to tell you a story, not some dry list of bullet points you'll forget by tomorrow. This is the raw, messy truth, wrapped in the lives of people just like you. People who thought their relationships were solid until they started noticing the patterns. Patterns that hide in plain sight. Patterns that even the most unsuspecting people in your life, your spouse, your sibling, your mentor, your ride-or-die best friend, might be using right now without you realizing it.
Stick with me, because by the time we're done, you'll never miss these signs again. You'll spot them in the middle of a group chat, across the dinner table, in a Zoom call, even in a text that looks innocent. And more importantly, you'll know exactly what to do when you see them. Not out of paranoia, out of power. Let's begin. Meet Alex, 34 years old, marketing manager at a mid-sized tech firm in a bustling city. The kind of guy who shows up early, stays late, and still finds time to coach his nephew's soccer team on weekends. Everyone likes Alex. He's steady, funny, the friend who remembers birthdays and sends memes at exactly the right moment. But for the last 6 months, something's been off. He can't put his finger on it. It's like the air around certain people has shifted, subtly, like a room that's suddenly 2 degrees colder. It started with his older brother, Mark. Mark's the golden child, lawyer, married with 2 kids, the one their parents still brag about at every family gathering. Alex has always looked up to him. So when Alex called to share the news about his promotion, the one that came with a corner office and a real salary bump, Mark's response hit like a soft punch. "Dude, that's awesome. They finally noticed you, huh? Took long enough. Remember when you were flipping burgers in college? Look at you now." Then he laughed, that big, hearty laugh that always made Alex feel included. But this time, it landed differently. Like Mark was patting him on the head for finally catching up. Alex brushed it off. Brothers rib each other, right? But then it happened again, and again, with his wife, Sarah, with his best friend since high school, Jamal, with his boss, who'd mentored him for years. Tiny moments that stacked up like invisible bricks until Alex started waking up at 3 a.m., wondering why he felt so small. That's when the pattern cracked open for him. And that's when he started seeing the 10 signs everywhere. Signs that someone, anyone, secretly looks down on you. Even the ones you'd swear never would. You know that moment when someone gives you a compliment that should feel good, but instead leaves you replaying it for days. That's sign 1, and it's sneakier than you think.
backhanded compliments disguised as praise. They sound supportive on the surface, but they're laced with that quiet assumption that you're somehow lesser. You're so brave for speaking up in the meeting today. Most people in your position would have just stayed quiet. Or from a colleague who's been at the company longer. Wow, your presentation actually worked. I didn't expect that level of polish from the new guy. Alex first caught it with Jamal. They were grabbing beers after work, and Alex mentioned landing a huge client pitch. Jamal clapped him on the back. "Man, that's huge! I remember when you were too nervous to even order your own food at restaurants. Growth looks good on you." Jamal was smiling, genuinely. But Alex felt that familiar drop in his stomach. The same one he felt as a kid when his dad would say, "You're smart," for a boy who hates math. It's not outright mean. It's worse. It's praise that reminds you of every version of yourself they think you've outgrown or never quite reached. Why do people do this? Psychology whispers the answer. Insecurity wrapped in superiority. When someone feels the need to elevate themselves by subtly lowering you, even in the same breath, it's a defense mechanism. They're protecting their own ego by making sure you never fully step into the spotlight without a reminder of where you started. And the people who do it best? The ones you'd never suspect, because they've done it so subtly for years that it feels like normal banter. Your partner who says, "I love how you're finally getting organized with the bills." Baby steps, right? Your parent who says, "You handled that argument with your boss so well. I was worried you'd just cry like you used to." Alex started noticing it everywhere. In group texts, in passing comments at holidays. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's the verbal equivalent of a pat on the head. Warm on the outside, diminishing on the inside. And if you call it out, "Come on, I was joking. You know I'm proud of you." Gaslight City. But backhanded compliments are just the appetizer. The real gut punch comes when they move to sign 2, interrupting you, talking over you, or finishing your sentences like your thoughts aren't worth the full runway. It's not loud rudeness. It's that smooth, effortless way they step in and take the wheel, as if your voice is background noise. Picture Alex in a team meeting. He's presenting an idea he's spent weeks refining. Halfway through his sentence, his boss leans forward with that knowing smile. "Exactly, and what you're really getting at is..." And then the boss runs with it. Credits Alex at the end, sure, but the room now thinks it was the boss's brainchild. Alex sits there, mouth half open, feeling invisible. Later, his wife does the same at dinner. "Babe, you're telling the story wrong. What you meant was..." She's not angry. She's helping. But every interruption chips away at your confidence until you start second-guessing whether your own stories are even worth telling. This one hides in plain sight with the people closest to you because it masquerades as familiarity. "We finish each other's sentences. That's how close we are." Yeah, until you realize it's always them finishing yours, never the other way around. Psychologists call it conversational dominance, rooted in that same superiority complex. They don't see your input as equal. They see it as something to steer or correct. And the scariest part? It happens so smoothly you start doubting your own memory. Did I really need correcting, or am I just sensitive? Alex tested it once. He paused mid-story with Jamal and waited. Jamal jumped right in, assuming the silence meant Alex was lost. No apology, no "sorry, go on," just seamless takeover. That night, Alex stared at the ceiling, wondering how many times he'd let it slide because that's just how they are. Sign 3 creeps up even quieter, dismissing your achievements or ideas with a casual wave, like they're no big deal. You land the dream job? Cool, congrats. So when do you start? No questions, no excitement, no follow-up. You share a wild idea for a side hustle? Sounds risky.
Remember what happened last time you tried that? Delivered with a shrug that says, "Cute effort, kid." Sarah did this to Alex after he closed that massive client deal. That's great, honey. But don't get too ahead of yourself. These things can fall through. She kissed his cheek like she was softening the blow. Alex felt the high drain out of him instantly. Why couldn't she just celebrate? Because in her mind, maybe without her even realizing, his success threatened the balance they'd always had. She was the stable one, the planner. Him getting ahead disrupted the script. This sign is deadly because it's silent. No yelling, just emotional flatlining when you succeed. Your best friend changes the subject. Your sibling says, "Nice, but I did something similar years ago." Bigger scale, though. It's the emotional equivalent of yawning while you're pouring your heart out. And it happens with the people you'd never suspect. Because they love you. They just love their version of you more. The one who doesn't outshine them. Alex started keeping a mental scorecard. Every time he shared good news and got a lukewarm, "That's nice," something inside him hardened. He realized the people who truly saw him as an equal lit up. The ones looking down, they dimmed. We're only at sign 3, but already you're probably nodding along, thinking of that one person. Don't stop now, because sign 4 is the one that makes you question reality. The constant corrections and helpful explanations of things you already know. They don't just disagree, they educate you. Slowly, patiently, like you're 5 years old.
Jamal did it constantly. Alex would mention a book he loved. Jamal would nod, then launch into, "Actually, the author's point was more about," as if Alex hadn't read it cover to cover. Or at the gym. "You know, when you lift like that, you're actually targeting the wrong muscle group. Here, let me show you." Delivered in that gentle teacher voice that makes your skin crawl. This is classic mansplaining, but it doesn't require gender. It's anyone who assumes your knowledge is incomplete simply because it's yours. The psychology behind it? A need to position themselves as the expert in every room. Even if it's your room. Even if it's your life. Your mom explaining how to boil pasta the right way after you've been cooking for 20 years. Your partner correcting your memory of a vacation you both took. It's not about the pasta or the vacation. It's about control. About reminding you, subtly, that they know better. Alex started noticing how it drained him. Every "actually" felt like a tiny public demotion. And the worst part? The people doing it never saw it as condescending. To them, they were just being helpful. That's what makes it so insidious, with the ones you'd never suspect. They genuinely believe they're elevating you. Sign 5 hits you in the silence. They never ask for your opinion. Ever. Conversations flow around you, decisions get made, plans get set, and you're an audience member, not a participant. At family dinners, Mark would launch into stories about his cases, his investments, his kids' schools. Alex would try to chime in about his own life, and the topic would glide right back. No, "What do you think, Alex?" No curiosity. Just polite nods until it was time to pivot back to Mark. Same thing at work. His boss would brainstorm in meetings and skip right over Alex's raised hand. Then later, ask the intern for input.
This one is quiet poison, because it tells you, without words, that your perspective doesn't matter. Your background, your thoughts are optional. Psychologists link it to implicit bias or hierarchy reinforcement. Someone has decided deep down that you're not on their level, and the people who do it best are the ones who still invite you to the table. They include you physically, just not mentally. Alex felt it most with Sarah on weekends. They'd plan date nights, but it was always her picking the restaurant, the movie, the vacation. When he suggested something, she'd smile and say, "Maybe next time." then book what she wanted. He started wondering if she even valued his taste anymore. Sign 6 is all in the body, the way they angle away from you, avoid real eye contact, or create tiny physical barriers when you talk. Crossed arms, feet pointed toward the door, a phone suddenly very interesting the second you open up.
You feel it before you see it. That subtle lean back when you share something vulnerable. The quick glance at their watch. Alex noticed it with his boss during one-on-ones. The boss would lean forward for his own updates, but sit back, arms folded, when Alex spoke. Like Alex's words were something to endure, not engage with. Body language doesn't lie, even when words do. Science backs it. When someone views you as lesser, their posture closes off. They create distance. They mirror less. It's subconscious, which is why it slips past even the kindest people. Your supportive friend who suddenly finds the floor fascinating when you talk about your struggles, they're not bored. They're signaling, without realizing, that your pain is beneath them.
Sign 7 is the one that stings in public, one-upping everything you say. You share a tough week, they had a tougher one. You land a small win, they had a bigger one last month. It's never a competition, until it is. Jamal was a master. Alex would say, "I ran 5 miles this morning." Jamal, "Nice, I did 7 yesterday, new PR." Delivered with a grin that said, "Friendly rivalry." But over time, it wore Alex down. Every share became a comparison he couldn't win. Psychologically, it's called relative deprivation, keeping you in a lower orbit so they stay the star. The unsuspected ones do it with love in their eyes. Your sibling who turns every story into, "Well, when I." Your partner who matches your excitement with their own bigger tale. It's not malice, it's ego maintenance.
Sign 8 is the tone. That slow, exaggerated patience. The slight head tilt. The "I'm explaining this for your benefit" voice. Even when the topic is something you know better than they do. Sarah did it when helping with taxes. "Okay, sweetie, let me walk you through this step by step." As if Alex hadn't filed them solo for years before they met. The words were helpful. The delivery made him feel like a child. This sign thrives in long-term relationships because familiarity breeds assumed incompetence. They know you so well, they forget you've grown. Sign 9 is the emotional flat line on your successes, combined with over-the-top reactions to their own. You get promoted, polite clap. They get a compliment, full victory lap with photos and announcements. Alex watched his boss do it in team meetings. Alex's win got a good job. The bosses got fireworks. It's the hierarchy made visible. And finally, sign 10, the one that breaks you when you see it. Subtle exclusion. They invite you, but not really. They text the group, but forget to loop you in. They post photos from events you weren't told about. Or worse, they avoid being seen with you in public where it matters. Work functions, family photos, social media. Mark did this at a family reunion. Hugged Alex privately, but spent the whole day networking with important relatives, leaving Alex on the sidelines. You're fine, right? It wasn't rejection. It was relegation. Alex's story doesn't end in bitterness. It ends in clarity. Once he saw the signs, woven through every relationship, he started responding differently. He called them out, gently but firmly. He set boundaries. He invested in people who lifted him up without the hidden hooks. And slowly, the small people faded, and the real ones stepped forward. You've been there too, haven't you? That cafe moment, that family dinner, that late night text that left you staring at the screen, wondering if you're crazy. You're not. These signs are real. They hide in the people you'd swear would never do this,
Because love and superiority can coexist in the same heart when no one calls it out. The good news? Spotting them is your superpower. The moment you see the backhanded compliment, the interruption, the dismissal, the correction, the silence, the body language, the one-up, the tone, the flatline, the exclusion, you reclaim your space. You respond with calm confidence. I appreciate that, but I'd love to finish my thought. Or you simply step back and let their behavior speak for itself. You deserve relationships where you're seen as an equal, not a project, not a side character, not a lesser version waiting to catch up. The people who truly value you will celebrate without the asterisk. They'll listen without the takeover. They'll stand beside you without the subtle step back.
Alex is thriving now. New circle, deeper connections, and that nagging feeling? Gone. Because he learned the ultimate truth. The ones looking down on you were never looking at you at all. They were looking at their own reflection. So next time that pit hits your stomach after a compliment, pause, breathe, notice, and remember, you're not imagining it. You're waking up. And once you wake up, you never go back to sleep.